started the recording.
Yeah, do you want me to start or?
Go ahead.
Sure, all right. I was actually messaging Armani to see if I can get him on. Yeah, so does everyone have the agenda? I guess I'll share the link again. It's always the same link. So I'll post it in Discord. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what are some developer updates since the last time? Yeah. So we added a bunch of new markets. I think you guys remember there was that emergency session last Saturday discussing Cope and Saber, Ray and Solperp. And I think after that, actually, I was convinced that we should prioritize Oracle spots for the big L1 tokens or big L1 so that we can have them as perps. But yeah, at the end of the day, there was a lot of demand for Cope, a little bit less demand for Saber, and we added Soul Perps. It was a good time, fix some bugs. I think Soul Perps is just has most of our volume at this point. More updates on our side. We got advanced orders almost working, so we just have the user interface to go through. I think there was some potential exploits that we had to patch. That's why it's been taking a little bit. These things are always a little bit harder on decentralized platforms. And of course, it's also going to be integrated into the Liquidator, so you can trigger other people's advanced orders. And data, which, apologies for being slow on this, but we're also collecting a lot. It's just Solana generates so many transactions, and specifically Mango generates so many transactions. It's just taken a long time to compile all the data, and we're almost ready. Now, I mean, I can't promise a due date on this, but now there's the arduous task of taking all this data that we have in our databases and then presenting it to people in usable formats. There's some math that needs to be done. There's some calculations that need to be inferred, and still it's not complete. Like the data isn't fully, especially on spot side. So that's work in progress. But I think we have enough data, and Max had created, let's see if I can maybe screen share this. Yeah.
I have it also set up. I can screen share it. Give me a second.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can screen share it. So the data we do have, we have the market maker. I especially wanted to talk about the market maker program.
Let's go down there. Okay.
Yeah, you want me to talk about it? I mean, look, I just have so
I can give a rough overview,
yeah.
And then you can give your color, I think. So what you guys are seeing here is like different market makers. So each of those two bars and one dot here is one specific market maker. And I sorted them by the MNGO rewards they accrued in their lifetime. So the top market makers collected roughly 60 to 40 grand, 40,000 MNGO. So current market value, that should be $20,000, maybe a bit less for the top person. What we're seeing here is that some people are driving more volume than others. So I think number 3 is actually the strongest maker in terms of volume. He he's basically providing more than 50% in the last 7 days in maker volume, but he's still earning roughly as much MNGO as some other market makers that are providing a lot of volume, but maybe are not hit as often as this particular one. And so from there, you can see this red bar, which is basically calculating the rebate. So if MNGO was converted into a US dollar rebate in basis points, so this market maker would have earned 3.5 basis points on every trade, which I think is actually something that seems realistic. But then this across the board, we see that most market makers are getting more around 100 or 60 basis points. There's a bunch of people with 60 basis points, a bunch of people with more than a few hundred even. These three guys here, a bunch of people who have way less, of course. We see some people even with 2 or 1 basis points. And this is scaled logarithmically. So actually the highest rebate anyone got is this trader here. I think he just posted 1 order. So you didn't get a lot of mango in absolute, but as a rebate, this was like 912 basis points rebate. It's like 9%. So the rule is not completely fair or evenly spread, but we wanted it to reward people who are very close in the book in times when there's no liquidity. And so we expect these values to be different because some liquidity is just more valuable than other liquidity, and it's not necessarily related to actual traded volume. Then maybe a bit about these stats. So this is just in general how much MNGO was given out in the last 7 days. There's a caveat here. This is based on redeem. So every time a market maker clicks redeem or sends the instruction, this is not based on how much they actually accrue. Then we have the 7-day maker volume. So this list is truncated to just 50 makers, else would get too long. So that's why these two values differ. In total, we had on the perps in 7 days, 31.7 million in volume. So the top 50 are responsible for 31 of that. And we see like which market makers are the highest providers. And we also see that they're pretty far in the MNGO distribution. And the same thing is true for the taker volume. We see that the best makers actually are also takers. So particularly this one, 3JU, we see he's also one of the biggest takers, which is reasonable given that people who are already running a bot, they might also facilitate some arbitrage with other exchanges. I think that's a healthy sign. That means that the best market makers are actually fairly sophisticated and not just running the open source bot. But yeah, here we see the top 50 takers only provide 26 million of the 31.7 million volume. So there's a longer tail of people that didn't make it in the top 50. In general, we have, I think, more than double as many takers as makers on every given day. So this is the statistic. See 2 times more takers than makers usually. Okay. David, do you want to add something?
Yeah. So I would like to say that I think we have to adjust the formula. I actually don't think that providing deeper in the book liquidity is that valuable, and certainly not that valuable that, you know, you have, I mean, okay, look, full disclosure, I'm actually this guy 6YY. And so, you know, I have some skin in the game. I have a horse in this race, but I think it's more valuable to provide liquidity at top of the book. And even I noticed when I, you know, there's a small bug, I lost a bunch of money, and then I widened my spreads, and I noticed the volumes went down a lot. So I think people, people care a lot more about the liquidity at the top of the book. And if you're earning rebates, then you should be providing at the top of the book. And so I think we should adjust the formula, or again, we can change the parameters. I don't know what, we could have a short discussion here. I think that's fine. If anybody wants to opine.
Yeah, I'm curious what parameters you're thinking of, or how you're thinking of adjusting the change. Is it changing the quadratic formula, or something along those lines?
Yeah, the main tools we have are the max depth bips and the exponent on the formula. Right now the exponent is 2 and it's hard coded. But in the next release, when we in the next release, we'll have like market order. We'll have a bunch of new changes coming in, and we can add the exponent as another parameter so that it's not hard coded. And perhaps we can set it to the 4th power. I think that's, yeah, it's going to take, we have to be a little bit careful. You don't want like integer overflows and stuff like that. But yeah, I wonder what's people's opinion.
Yeah, so I guess a partial disclosure for me, I'm a couple of the accounts hovering around your account. And another disclosure, I've sort of taken a more mercenary market making farming approach to avoid getting hit. And the best way to stop people like me is to actually only reward the ones getting filled, like the maker. You said yourself, if you're quoting tight, there's more people likely to fill you. And I think actually totally deviating from the current approach would be instead rewarding those that actually get hit. So, or maybe it could be a bit of both, right? So you reward people on a bigger curve, a steeper curvature within 100 bips or whatever, but then allocate a separate one for specifically, like essentially a make or rebate. So only if you get hit do you get this other benefit. And so that way, maybe you could allocate even more Mango to those people, and then just a little bit when it comes to simply providing the liquidity in the normal way.
Yeah, the reason why we didn't, I guess you're kind of limited on the rebates, because then you can only, the rebate can only be up to 5 bips, or the Mango equivalent of 5 bips, because anything higher than that, then people want to self-trade to get the amounts, to get the, I guess naturally we have a limit. So if you just do some super naive approach, people could self-trade and just drain the entire vault. But that won't happen here, because if you do a lot of self-trading, then the disbursement rate will go down. So it's not like people can use it to completely drain the vault. But yeah, that's the drawback.
Well, the way to effectively do that then would be if the if it's removed. So you could effectively do the same thing by bringing down the depth to like 20 bips, and then like basically the only people who will ever get it will be getting hit, or providing very reliably hittable liquidity.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say 50. Yeah, I was gonna say 50 and evaluate again. Or even, we can just keep going and stay. We can just keep adjusting these things. It's not like we're at a very stable place where everyone's expecting the same formula to exist forever. So changing it to 50 to the 4th power would probably be good.
Okay, shall we?
Yeah, so we can
do
move on to
the program update first to increase the power, and then the rate limit as another one, or do we want to do both at once?
Well, so there's one of those is a governance proposal. So we have to do a governance proposal to change the depth. The other one, I think maybe what I could do, we could make it into the upgrade and then do a governance proposal to change the parameter from 2 to 4. So first we have to do the upgrade. I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an issue right now with the Anchor build verification. So I'm waiting for my build to get verified for a few days.
Oh yeah, it's I think it's broken.
Yeah. We're the only ones on there. So
no, I think I broke it actually last week.
Oh, you too?
But I don't know if it's been fixed.
Okay. I have 4 projects on the agenda that we want to present. How shall we do this? How do I find you to let you share screen?
I think we can ask for sharing. There's directly a button here.
Yeah.
I think then you would be prompted simply to accept it or not, I think.
Well, now you should be able to share.
Should I just go ahead or somebody else wants to?
Oh, yeah, you are number 1 on the agenda.
Oh, cool.
So.
Yeah. So I think I can start. So can you guys see my screen? I think so, right?
Yes, very good.
Cool. Yeah. So I just want to talk a bit about what I'm doing. So I'm working on the REST API service for the Mango markets. And basically the goal for this was that basically if you had like existing tools, right? So if you're trading on other exchanges, you could just bring in those tools and work with a more simplified API. And you don't need to basically touch any of the Solana specific code for doing this, right? And exactly. There is a design consideration. Basically, what I did right now is that the REST API server is something that you run locally, and you can just then basically talk to it with your programs. And what it does right now, it basically takes your private key, your wallet, and then it just does everything for you. An alternative approach to this basically would be that we host like a centralized REST API service where you build various Solana transactions and then send it back to the client, and then he signs it and sends it back. But exactly. So I think, I don't know how many people here are interested in this. If more people are interested, we might look at the different considerations which are done right now. What I've done so far is that I have basically an API working and some endpoints, I think most of the popular ones. So what I have is like getting your open positions, then getting your wallet, for example, it lists your Mango stuff. What I also do right now actually is like I try to follow the FTX API as close as possible. So if you have some code where you're already working with FTX, then you would be able to technically port it very easily to Mango markets. And exactly. So some of the other endpoints are like getting some more information on the markets you have running on Mango. Then there is, you can get the order book, for example, then also the trades, the recently done trades on the market, also the candlesticks if you want to do some more fine-tuned, how would you say, technical indicators based trading, for example. And yeah, then you can get your open orders, you can place perp orders, place spot orders, and then you can cancel some of the things. So this is what I have so far. And yeah, so I have a long list of like to-dos or like a to-do itinerary I would like to do. I think there is a lot of RPC node related issues. So right now, if you use your own private RPC node, you won't have any issues with the service. I just rented actually quick Node today to quickly try it out, and it works pretty smooth. But if you would go for any of the public nodes, then you face a lot of issues. Basically, you have things like your transactions are stuck. You don't really know if your order is placed or not. Maybe you would later want to check it if it's placed or not, or things like these. Yeah, and there are like some additional things. So the guys are right now still working on like real market orders, right? Or stop losses, or so these I would probably integrate at some point. And I also recently did like a poll on Twitter, like what kind of things people would like to see in this. And then people wanted more advanced order types, like splitting orders into smaller chunks and then placing them on the books. Exactly. There is, of course, a lot of optimization things which I could do in the future, but I would like to first see if people are actually interested in using the service, and then we could take a look at. So sorry for the monologue, yeah, but this was it so far, yeah. And if anybody has any questions.
Yeah. So the API service is so you're running a server.
Exactly.
And
we
query. Yeah.
So you basically run like a Node.js based, Express.js based local service, like a web service, and then you have like your own client. For example, you can have like a Python client, right? Which I've written, which is just an example so far. And then these would basically talk to this service which you're running locally.
Okay. Is it, you know, what's the advantage of this versus just creating another client, like another TypeScript client, and just doing these modifications on in TypeScript? Like, for example, you know, it's just like a client that matches the interface or the spec of FTX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is, so I think primarily people don't use TypeScript if they want to do some form of automated trading. They would most probably use Python. They would probably also want to use pandas from Python if they want to do some more deeper analysis. And so there is a lot of existing tools like CCXT, for example, which just basically lets you, it has like a common API over all the exchanges. Mm-hmm. And they basically integrate with the REST API service of all the exchanges. And technically you could just, so it's a REST API is like a kind of central form. So most of the people, at least in my opinion, I think have their codes, their automated trading or algorithmic trading written against REST APIs, and they could just bring it in without having to write any TypeScript.
Yep, that's a good point.
There's also, I know a bunch of businesses that would probably be interested in trying this. You should probably reach out to the people at Stacked. Mm-hmm. They're offering like a trading bot hosting service for people who want to trade on this one.
Mm-hmm. Cool, yeah. I think means
there's someone on the call actually from Stacked. No.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there is, so I looked at actually like 2 or 3 like decentralized exchanges like Waves, for example, who have a REST API, and that's like a centralized server for people to just use. But they all require some form of registration on their website, and then you generate like API keys, and then you use them. So I think that's kind of like you have to choose your poison, right? If you want to go fully decentralized, then you would probably want to run your REST API server also locally. And if you want to do a bit of, if you don't want the hassle of running your own REST API server, then you probably want to host a centralized one for many people to use. But then you have issues like, okay, which RPC node does this server use, right? Then how do you rate limit various users, right? It means these are all fine considerations, right? But I think at least right now, I'm not aiming to solve these problems at least. But yeah, like I think if Stacked would like to use it, for example, then they would probably prefer like one server which does not move, right? Which they would probably integrate with. But that's just my naive view of the situation. Maybe they would let you like configure like your own hosted server on AWS or something.
Just want to add one thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking into Hummingbot. I think DYDX, it has integrations with DYDX and other decentralized exchanges too. So if you could provide a REST API, I think we can plug it into Hummingbot and access the whole tool set which is available there. That would be great. So definitely check out Hummingbot too.
I mean, it's a market making tool, right? Or...
Yeah, it's a market making tool, and if you can plug your API into there, that would be you would be able to access the technical stuff they offer too. So,
okay. So you could basically bring in their business logic they have for various market making strategies. Okay, and then you could have your REST API local. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, so far. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, but means beta testers are always welcome. I've had like 1 or 2 people already test it out.
I guess kind of the open question that Daffy was hinting at, and that this is more like just an open question. It's not really something we can answer here. Is like there are 2 ways of like making this stuff accessible to people. Like one way is you write like thick clients for like popular languages, for example, like Mango Explorer. It would be like release that as a library and just make the user API very similar to like just make it look very similar to FTX, like have functions that look like the FTX REST API endpoints. And then the second way is to do what you've done, is build a service and let people like run that locally. And yeah, all I'm saying here is just that it's kind of like it's early days. We don't know which one people will prefer in the long run. Definitely, obviously, one thing is if there's a REST API, like then someone's using some weird language that nobody else cares about, then that's definitely easier for them.
True. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you want to go to the next person here, Springboard?
Yeah, okay. I'll share my screen. This one. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so this is Binje from Springboard. So we are working on a protocol. It's basically a DAO where users will be able to come to here to the website and invest with their crypto assets. So we were thinking that, there are many lending protocols, but also like even Mango Market, also farm or protocols where, coming with an asset, you can get an API while invested into like in the protocol. So why not to merge like all of this into one platform, right? So it's kind of like a yield aggregator, like some people call us. I'll talk later about like DAOs, which is like a new thing. So basically here you will come with your crypto asset, like let's say Solana, you will click, it doesn't work. So there are many things that we're still working on at the moment, but let's say you have Solana or Mango or whatever. So you click and then you will see a bunch of strategies here. We want to provide like super simple strategies for the non-advanced users. And this strategy will basically invest into like different protocols at the same time. So it will invest into Mango Markets, which the integration is already done. The integration that we have done already is like Mango, Solent, Radium. Radium is not on DevNet, so it is not working at the moment because this is on DevNet. And then we are also working for a Marinade integration for Pod Finance, and we have some others, but I don't think we will make it for the hackathon. And then what we have as well is like the DAOs. This is not done at the moment, but the DAOs is a concept that we came up with also with the help of like Sebastian, the guy from the governance. So, the DAOs will be, you can think of them as decentralized vaults, and decentralized because they will be governed by the community. So you will have like a different DAOs here, and when the DAOs will be like vaults itself. So you will deposit your asset into the vault, and inside, when you click on them, you could govern where the money goes to. So you could select which strategy you invest to, or like which protocol. You could also like do other stuff regarding like the governance. And on top of it will be like a springboard token, which will be like a governance token, and that will be like a DAO. And yeah, we will like take all the decisions, same as like Mango. So we'll be happy to also collaborate on the governance part of Solana. So yeah, there like it's not really ready yet, as you well know, that there is no like snapshot for like Solana. So yeah, we, as I said, like we'll be happy to collaborate on that, and we basically need something like for like DAOs, like a cool UI and like the governance here. I don't think we will be able to make this for the hackathon, but even if we give it a glance for it, that will be cool. So yeah, like a super simple like web app where like DeFi users can invest their assets and get some yield, but also some advanced strategies for the future that we will be adding. So you know, working with like structured products in order to generate some yield and things like that. Yeah, so that's basically what we are working on. I mean, I can showcase here, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, you can deposit here. So you have the balance, what is deposited. We need to work on the design a lot, I know. And then, but yeah, this is go to Phantom Wallet, and then you approve, and then this goes through, and then you have deposit into the vault. So another thing we are looking for is like, you know, like when a new protocol comes into, let's say, Solana ecosystem, a new lending protocol, like let's say Jet protocol, which will come live in 2 months or whatever, in 1-2 months, they will struggle for liquidity at the beginning. So if this springboard has a lot of attention, we'll have like incentivized strategies in order to provide liquidity to a new protocol. This will, of course, will be decided by the community, which like protocols we will provide liquidity to. And we are thinking of incentivizing the strategy because I guess it won't get the best APY. So we are thinking of incentivizing the strategy with either our own token or like the token that maybe they can provide us, or kind of grant or whatever. And then of course is the best API will invest in the best API that was yesterday. So let's say yesterday for Solana in Mango you had like 10% APY. So, and in Solen it was like 7. So you will invest in Mango today, but you will rebalance every X time. Let's say every day or every 2 hours. I don't know. I mean, for auto compounding will be, I guess, every 1 hour or 2 hours, but for the best API strategy will be every I don't know, like a day or something like this.
I think if you rebalance, like I see some people rebalance like within a few minutes. Sometimes you see people opening big positions in Mango, and then the interest rate goes up, and then it takes like 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes if it doesn't go down, then we tweet about it. But in general, it's like people are quite quick to move 100K around. Everything above is more like an effort that needs a tweet. But if it's just like, you know, $50,000, 150, that usually comes within a minute from somewhere.
I see.
I do have a question about the rebalancing there, because yeah, Mango's interest is based on utilization. So it's the very fact that you would be adding money to the pool or taking money out as part of your rebalancing would shift the interest rate that Mango would be using. And I'm curious how you can take that into account in your rebalance strategy, because it seems tricky to me and possible, but I just wonder how you are planning on taking that into account?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I guess at the beginning, when there's not a lot of liquidity in our protocol, won't be an issue. But if we reach some liquidity, for sure, that'll be an issue, which most of the lending protocols, I will say, because they're mostly based on like the APY, based on like the utilization. So I guess, to be honest, we are not very sure on how to deal with this, but I guess one thing will be like, this strategy will invest like, let's say 50% in each protocol, or like 20% in each protocol if there are 5 protocols. So that will be like fine for this strategy. But this best API, we will have to maybe use some metrics to see how it behaves with like the liquidity we have at some point, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not, as you say, it's not a question for right now or for the hackathon, but I think it is an interesting question, and
sure,
I think it is also something that can set you apart. So yeah, I think it's interesting, worth thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's.
I think it's kind of deterministic, right? I think you can use a utilization ratio. I used to.
You can. I was thinking about that, and how the rebalance. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the whole pot moving. It could be, well, if we do this, then it will change utilization to that, and that is lucrative, but only for that level of money. Yeah, I think it could be it could be an interesting hackathon challenge all on its own.
Interesting math problem to solve, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll have to think about that. But your approach is good, like thinking before, like putting the liquidity into one protocol. So thinking what will be the APY if we rebalance all the liquidity to one protocol, right? But maybe, as you said, maybe instead, like not providing all the liquidity at once, but yeah, calculating what will be the APY if we provide this X amount of liquidity to one protocol. Yeah. And at the moment, like our strategies are not based on any AMM because of the impermanent loss. So like the advanced strategies will work with some of the, providing 2 assets at the same time, but that is not a thing that we want to focus at the moment, but for sure, like in the future.
Yeah, this is it's a very interesting project. I think we need more of this. I would certainly put my money in there to help balance out the liquidity across the various pools. So yeah, thanks for building this. Shall we go to the next presenter, CryptoCrunch?
Yes, I guess you mean Chain Crunch, right?
Sorry,
Chain Crunch, yeah.
Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, yes. Great. So basically, we are doing an on-chain data analytics platform. We started first by like storing all the blocks and all the transactions, because we saw some similar tools that are doing this for real time, like things, and like Soliscan, Solana Beach, you can like see a transaction at a time, but we wanted to focus more on like the historical part and like seeing how the platforms worked like during weeks or months, and this wasn't easy basically because of like all the storage needs and like all the processing power you need to do so. But yeah, we are like trying to see how it goes. Basically, we've started indexing from around 10 days ago, and we've started building up some dashboards for some of the platforms. So this is for Mango. You can see like all the deposit and withdrawals for like all the different tokens that Mango has. We built a like simple overview of Solana, like how many transactions we have, like how many active wallets, how many instructions. This isn't like another dashboard for Solent. You can see like how much people are putting into depositing or borrowing from like different platforms. So basically, the whole thing is about like having all the raw data, and then we can like process it, extract data from the instructions, from the logs, and then present them in dashboards. And of course, we have like ourselves, we are using like a more advanced notebook sort of thing. We can code Python and SQL and everything in here. So, to do all the processing, and we may provide this like sort of dashboard, more advanced dashboard to like heavy expert users who want to do like a lot more with the data. So like, yeah, basically this is like a simple table we extracted out of all the transactions from Mango. It works pretty fast because like at least the withdraw and deposit transactions in Mango are not too much. So yeah, that's manageable. But yeah, in general, we can like do a simple query for a single day, which is around a few 100 million transactions in like less than an hour, maybe around 15 minutes or so. So I guess like we can help you. We can help Mango at least for like some other analytics that we may need, some more like dashboards, which are like maybe hard to process. And of course, we are like also thinking about more, let's say, streaming part, like more live data. That needs some sort of like different technical infrastructure and infrastructure stack. But some parts are definitely common, like how to like decode all the states and the accounts and like decoding the instructions. So yeah, we are like building those as well. We are like working on like reading and like parsing all the Rust data structure, so we can like parse them on the fly. And basically that's it. So I guess you guys also need some more dashboards, so it would be nice to see how we can help with that.
Yeah, so I mentioned this in Discord yesterday. It's probably for us, the hardest part, I think, is the data coming from Serum Dex. Okay. Because we have some data that, so we log, we have control over what we can log. So we log put a lot of things in the program logs and then fetch the data later. But it's much harder to log trades on Serum Dex.
Okay.
Yeah. This withdraw and deposit how are you gathering this? Are you just looking at the changes to vaults?
No, basically we have all the transactions. So we like look for the instructions that are like withdraw and deposit, and then we like extract them out. Are
you parsing the logs, or are you parsing the instruction bytes?
We are parsing the data, the binary data.
I see. Yeah, but binary data, do you mean like the instruction or?
Yeah, exactly, the instruction.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can like basically like this is just, it's a very simple code. We have like this instructing the code, looking at the first 4 bytes to see what's the instruction, and then like we take all the other necessary data out of it. So yeah, basically, yeah, it's pretty simple for like at least simple instructions, but yeah, we can do this for like more sophisticated ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like the good part about this is like if the data can be extracted from the transactions, then we can do it for sure. But if like there is some sort of more sophisticated logic going on, we should switch back to the other way, like to maybe pull the account state, or like subscribing to the account so we can get all the changes to like the data. And we are also like planning to do that as well, so we can have like all the changes to the state to the account data as well.
Yeah, in theory, you could take, if you had the validator, you can start the validator at some previous block and then run through them. And because you have the transactions, right? And you can just apply the transactions one by one. And
that's true, but yeah, I guess that means that some more like infrastructure works to do. We are basically,
yeah, that's very hard. Yeah.
I think there's an archive node now somewhere you can rent access to, which makes it a lot simpler. And you can, I'm not sure how it works, how you can say what was the state at this particular block, but I'm told it's available to rent, and I think that simplifies a lot of things than having to set up your own validator.
Okay, yeah, if you have any links to that archive note, because we haven't seen such a thing yet.
I'll see if I can dig it out.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think the hardest, really like the hardest thing for every team building on top of Serum is this complete inability for us to like really record all trades. I mean, in theory it's possible, but then, you know, real life hits you. We have by now, I think, spent hundreds of hours. We're running multiple data centers with multiple validators, with multiple, like everything redundant. And we're still missing trades. So it's quite a challenging game to do it like 100% reliable. Which is kind of silly because it's a blockchain, right? And like on every other blockchain, it's really not an issue to get the data 100% reliable. People like the Graph or other protocols or like projects have figured this out, but so far no one figured it out yet for Solana. The things you show here, like parsing the instructions, is very valuable. And we have a service like that that a few people are working on in that I'm also part of, and we use it exactly as you said, right? Like making dashboards, like understanding a bit what's going on. But we always see that the most valuable data is actually the trade data, and that you don't get with this approach.
So
yeah,
I encourage you actually. So we have an open source transaction scraper. That's what it's doing is going through all the Mango transactions and looking at the program logs, which the validator stores for, I forgot what was it, 3 weeks or 3 months?
3 months.
3 months. Yeah, and I think different validators will have different policies, but so the transaction log contains, or the program log contains the important information in it. It's missing a couple of pieces, like, we couldn't program log Serum Dex trades, but we can infer the Serum Dex trades if we program log, like before and after balances. So what I mean to say here is, if you guys are interested, I think that would also be valuable. It would be redundant. Like we have a version, and then you could do your version and maintain it and all that stuff. And
I see. And do you see value more like in a historical way of like seeing all these trades in Serum, or are you more interested in the live version to see what's going on recently?
Oh, historical. Yeah, look, I know there's plenty of people who will pay you money if you're able to provide historical Serum Dex trades.
Okay.
Not just us, like a lot of people will pay you money for that. Like, okay. Even if it goes to the level, like there's all these trading firms they have to pay you money for that. It's just that you have to have some high, really high confidence in the fidelity of that data, the accuracy of that data. But if you can do it, I think it's really valuable.
Okay, great. And you also mentioned some statistics for the market makers yesterday.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So there's so right, the things we worry about the most, of course, are features for users of Mango markets, and so these are usually like personal, tied to an account statistics. I would say everything that is kind of like an interest rate, so it accrues over time, is implemented in a way that makes it a bit tricky to reliably track it. So I think probably looking at funding rates of the perpetual market first is a good start, because it's a bit more isolated problem. And then the next thing will be interest rates on deposits. That one is also really challenging to track. But yeah, these are specific to Mango features. I think they're less generally resellable. But of course, people who use Mango, they have this problem. They're like, oh yeah, market making on the perps. I'm short most of the time. I should be earning a lot of funding, but they don't know how much. I think everyone who's running a market maker can tell you this is an issue, because they don't know the P&L maybe to some extent also, especially when they're hedging on another exchange. And then the interest part, we get a lot of feedback on that also, because people are depositing, I don't know, $50,000, and then they're waiting a few days, and then they see they got $5, and that's cool. But sometimes it's like it doesn't go up, and they're like wondering like how much do they actually earn. So we've been tracking average interest rates for those people, but even those are fluctuating quite a lot. So I think people would preferably, for their tax reason or for tax reasons, have a CSV file in the end of the year where you just see, okay, that day I earned $2 lending out my USD on Mango, that day I earned $5, I think FTX does it hourly because that's how they built the system. Your money is actually locked for an hour also when you lend it out. But in Mango, it's really like continuous. Every interaction with certain functions of the smart contract will accrue interest. And so it happens actually really, really a lot. And it's a bit challenging to trace how much a certain user earned.
I have here, I can share with you, if you're interested, I can share with you like a design spec that I put together on how to actually calculate these important variables.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I put it together because there's another person who's scraped all this data and using the Mango program logs, and he's working on compiling all that data so that we can then display it in the user interface. But long run, I'm not sure that I personally would rather not have to manage servers. So and I'd rather pay someone to manage those servers and give me give me my CSV file so I can do good tax reporting. So so I think this is a pretty good valuable thing. Let me share that doc.
Okay, sure. And yesterday you mentioned that logs are not enough for doing this. Is this because like it's mostly related to the data in the accounts? We should be like pull that data once in a while.
No, logs can be enough. It's just that there's one piece where we forgot. Actually, there are a couple of pieces where we like missed one crucial piece of information or whatever it is. But logs should be enough. The only issue with logs is that right now we haven't really spent any time optimizing the logs. They cost a lot of compute. Like, we've always been in a compute constrained environment. And then if we spend more compute, then people can't compose on top of Mango. So, but still, I would say logs have been the easiest and most reliable method. Using, you mentioned another strategy, looking at the event queue and looking at the accounts, right? And looking at the changes in the account state. That's probably like the most reliable if you can do it on a historical, like have a validator and rerun the transactions. But if you're trying to do it live, it's the least reliable method. And we can vouch for that because we have dropped a lot of Serum trade history data points because the WebSockets are unreliable, RPC nodes unreliable, and then data gets overwritten on the event queue. So that's the least reliable. If you found a way to replay events, transactions on the blockchain using a previous validator state, then I think you have perfect data. I think that's but that might take a long time to build. So
okay.
Eric, can I also ask a question? I'm also from the same. Well, have you tried running a validator? Like, and why is it still hard to keep up with the live state if you're running a validator?
Yeah, I think that's another strategy. I mean, I don't want to run a validator, but another strategy is get a validator and make custom changes to the validator such that when you have specific, like Mango transaction, for example, a transaction that hits the Mango program ID, then you can add some logging logic to log it into the database. That's custom logic on a validator is a good idea, and I've thought about it, but have no time to implement anything like that.
Okay, makes sense. Also, another question. So, how often are you guys updating your funding payments and interest payments? And so this is on a block by block basis.
Not on a block by block basis. There's this thing called a keeper, and it can be run by anyone at any time, but it runs roughly once every 5 seconds. That's my guess. And so, yeah, I'll share with you this doc. So it goes over how, basically gives you an algorithm for how to compute a user's total funding earned at every point in time, going back to full history. So, and because 3 months, they store program logs up to 3 months, you have 3 months, and Mango v3 has only been out for 1 month. So we have theoretically full information on everyone's funding payments and interest payments. So yeah, why not? Let me just make this doc public. I don't think there's anything in here that's like.
It's super nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So to summarize, for more Mango specific applications, it's about what the market makers want to see more. And like in general, the serum trades are like the hardest problem to tackle right now.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I think serum is like ecosystem wide the hardest problem. The interest rate stuff is also challenging, but that's more Mango specific. And yeah, everyone that's trading on Mango will tell you like they need to know early next year, or the accountants are going to be mad at us.
Okay, great. And like any other feedbacks, you're welcome. And yeah, we can keep in touch. We have we posted the dashboard yesterday. You have our Twitter account. So yeah, let us know if you have any other things that is valuable for the users, and we can see how fast we can build that up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's extremely valuable. It's not a sexy job, but it is probably, right now, I think it's the most important job. So.
Okay, thanks.
So
yeah, I just have a question. Yeah. Is this limited to protocol specific information, or are you planning to track the wallets and other things too, like which Nansen or something of that sort does?
Well, basically, we can provide anything that can be derived from the transactions and blocks right now. But I guess it would be much easier if you want to do it for platforms compared to the user basis, because they are more investing in a sort of a OLAP infrastructure. So it's easier if we know the program and then we run all the queries on top of the program. But if we are trying to pick out a single user, that's going to be I would say a sort of different data infrastructure that compared to what we've invested on already. So in general, that's possible, but I guess that's not our main target right now. Single users, it's mostly platforms and protocols and things that are built on top of Solana.
Got it.
Okay, cool. Great. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So the next, Mango Heroes.
Hey everyone, this is Kels from the Mango Heroes project. Just kind of want to introduce ourselves and thank the Mango teams for giving us the opportunity to present along with these other projects. we don't have any screen share to share, but if you see that I'm talking, the artwork is actually my Zoom card. Just want to give a little background on us as a team. So we all originally started in a larger Discord crypto chat, and we formed these friendships through like building positivity and building up trust with each other. And then we all kind of split off into this other Discord that we created called the Brain Trust. And we also are forming a DAO within this Brain Trust Discord. And the Mango Heroes project is about 10 of us out of the whole 30 in this group. And a part of this group, it's a diverse group of devs, artists, traders. Myself, I'm an engineer, and we have a lawyer in there as well. So that's how we came together. And then why Mango Heroes, really? Mango Heroes is the brainchild of Exploit. I mean, you guys have seen him in the chat. He's been active on Twitter, sharing the art. And we want to support one of our own people in our own group and uplift them and uplift him to kind of succeed in this project. And actually, one of our first group projects, our group investments, was actually a mango cap. So it really all just came together in terms of just fitting well, and Mango has a great support in the community, and just we just loved Mango, and it just made sense. So that's why Mango Heroes, and then how Mango Heroes. So it's going to be a 10K profile picture project. Right now we have 150 traits as of now, but we're working on more to make more unique characters. We are implementing the Metaplex standard and minting with Candy Machine. This will be 100% community mint. There will be no mints left behind for the team or anything held back. It's going to be 100% for the community to mint. And we'll mint with everyone else or buy on secondary. And then anything we do, we also plan to give some away that we buy on the secondary market. Also, there's going to be no pre-sale or whitelist. We want this to be completely fair to the whole community and distribute it out to the community. And then kind of going into some of the utility we have for Mango Heroes, without really going into too much detail. We do plan on building this Mango Hero universe, and your heroes will have the ability to evolve over time. And we really want to build out this universe over time and really have the community engaged and not just be really this profile picture project that just mints and just exists, right? We want the community to be active and really enjoy having the Mango Heroes in their wallets and like have ownership of this Mango Hero, right? And also a percentage of our mint proceeds will go to charity. I know Exploit has really, he's been talking with the Giving Block and really a couple charities that he wanted to give away since this is his brainchild, his project. So.
Recording in progress.
What was that?
I think that was just somebody's background noise.
Okay. And then really the biggest question I think right now is when Mango Heroes. As of right now, we don't have a specific launch date, but it will be in 2021. I know Exploit's been working on the Metaplex implementation and getting that running. And then we want to build the best project possible without really sacrificing the art or sacrificing a smooth experience for everyone. So we want to make sure everything is good before we provide a launch date. And then mint price, that's going to be to be determined as of right now. We're going to watch SOL price closely and make it a fair mint price and not try to price anybody out. We really want everyone to enjoy this project and really kind of take ownership of their Mango, or the whole I am my Mango is me type thing. And then in terms of launch strategy, we have discussed the idea of using Radium Drop Zone as like a lottery system, but we would much rather use our own website and have the minting process done on our own site. So that has been a strategy discussed, but still a lot to work out. We're excited about this project. We're really excited about the possible feature of maybe implementing Mango Heroes as a Mango Markets avatar. In terms of when you connect your wallet, you can select your Mango Hero as your avatar. I know Espoli has talked with Maximilian and Nikki the other day about possibly doing that. But it's kind of the gist of the project and where we're at and where we plan to go in the future. So, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know anything about NFTs, but I know Nick is the resident NFT expert. Do you have any?
Why don't you give like tie it into Mango caps or Mango token holdings somehow? If it's any way related to Mango, why is it not hooked into what Mango is doing? All of this is Mango's, it looks like, and that's the connection.
Yeah, so one of the ideas discussed is actually implementing the Mango as your avatar on the Mango Markets and making that kind of like the official kind of mascot of Mango. Obviously, there's more to be worked out about that, and that's not a definite, but that is one way we can implement it. And I saw somebody maybe possibly minting with Mango. That's also a good option as well.
Yeah, I think you should give free ones to people that have a lot of Mango caps and Mango.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, you know, we actually thought about that. Sorry, I think I talked about that with Nick and Max, but I think it's just better to give everybody a fair chance of getting one, because the community is still growing. And then, you know, one of the reasons we think an NFT project will be cool is that it bridges the gap between the NFT side and the trading side. Whereas like there's a lot of people that get into crypto specifically for trading, or a lot of people that get into crypto specifically on the NFT side, but this kind of bridges both. So I think it'll help grow Mango Markets in terms of popularity, usability, and just being seen more by using the attention that the NFTs get. So yeah, I don't think it would be really fair to give special treatment or drops to the people that have Mango caps. Even though I did think about that, but once we talked it over, I said, yeah, you know, it just sounds more fair to give everybody a fair chance to go to the Mint website and, you know, possibly just pay one SOL and then mint.
There's people here in the chat asking have you thought about the idea of MNGO being the mint coin?
Yeah, so I know with the updates to the Candy Machine Metaplex fork, I was reviewing them just the other day. There's a lot of updates in there that I think we will work on implementing. One of them is the anti-rug protocol. And basically, you know, if you come and you try to mint and you don't get your NFT, then, you know, that money is like locked up in the code escrow. Just so, you know, the community feels safe, because we really don't want to be another crappy SOL project. Didn't put SOL in the name for a reason. And then, yeah, that I did learn that too from going to the Metaplex office hours the other day. From what I understand, any SPL token can be used to mint. So yeah, I like the idea of using Mango to mint.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the native Mango token too. If you can wrap it, you know, into another token which can be, you know, adjusted for the mint price too, that would be great, or something like that. Like people can give some Mango and you can wrap it in a token and then use that token for mint. That would be good too.
Yeah, are you talking about the candy machine, the ticketing system?
Yeah, like the Waves just did drop yesterday night, like where they take the Dropbox token. I was thinking something like that. Something like a Dropbox token could be made from Mango itself, of MNG itself. And then that can
so
be used
like
to,
Kels was saying, that's to actually mint. Yeah, that's something we've thought about instead of just doing a straight mint.
Yeah, that would actually link you with the Mango community as well. So it won't be just another NFT drop.
Yeah, but I think an even better way to really establish that link is to, and I don't think it's mutually exclusive from having an open, fair community mint, but to give some chunk, whatever percentage, that would be going to people that have a Mango cap or a certain number of Mango tokens. That this is truly establishing, I think, a stronger link.
Yeah, but that could kind of be unfair to new participants to it, I guess.
But they can just buy it. They can buy it off the market. So it's not only going, I'm not suggesting they only go to Mango token holders, but some portion would create this linkage.
Swap has, and if you
what
don't
would
have,
you think would be fair?
If you don't have any caps, Swap has some extra caps to sell to you.
Not to sell. Nope, not to sell. But yes, full disclosure, I do have some caps and some Mango.
How many? Go on, tell us.
I just want to get. I want to get as many of these Mango NFTs as possible. So.
So you have an agenda.
Yeah, but I think it really will establish the link. It will. That's like, if it's going to be tied to the project, what better way than to say, hey, these were actually, a portion of them were given to dedicated investors and Mango cap holders. I don't know. That's a pretty strong link in my opinion. Airdrop.
I think it's definitely something we can leave up to vote from the community. Once we actually launch the Discord group and get more of the community of interested folks in there. So yeah, I mean, it's not, we want to make it fair, but if the community that is growing on the project, wants a high, a percentage of them to go to Mango caps, then I mean, why not give the community what they want?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things with NFTs, like the leaderboard. Every Mango account can have an NFT associated with it, and then that on the leaderboard, you have your NFT there representing you as sort of like a profile pic. That would be cool. But that's a general. I don't think in that case we should prefer like one type of NFT than a different type.
Yeah. So basically, in the wallet which you have used to create the Mango account, you could sort of select any NFT that you have in your wallet there to be bound to that for leaderboard or other purposes.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not huge on NFTs in general, but I might use that.
All right, so I think we covered all the agenda items, and so that was the business section. So let's